Thank you, Nicholas Negroponte, 1995. Okay, you guys, if you know me by now, which you should, you know I like definitions. So this is a definition of the Internet. Worldwide system of computer networks. A network of networks in which users at any one computer can, if they have permission, get information from any other computer and sometimes talk directly to users at other computers. The Internet is a globally connected network system that uses TCP IP to transmit data by various types of media. And TCP has to do with transfer protocol, and it's ways to send the actual data via packets of information. And that, of course, is really what the invention of the Internet is. And these data are sent via broadband wires, the same wire. They used to be sent via phone lines. They can be sent via phone lines too. They're electronic pulses, I think you could say. By phone lines, of course, that's how it first started, and that's when we had what were called dial-up connections that were very slow and made like a sound when it was loading. I don't know if you guys even remember those early days. It would take a long time to download a text message on your email sometimes. Yes, via various types of media. Okay, and there's a definition of online. Connected to, served by, or available through a system, and especially a computer or telecommunication system, such as the Internet, an online database, also done while connected to such a system. Online shopping, online games, online searching. So here are some attempts to define what is the Internet. What does it mean to you? Yes, it's pretty much taken for granted, I think, by most of you and most of us now. You guys really grew up with it, though. What does the Internet do for us? Oh my goodness, it's a long list, isn't it? Just try living without your phone for a while. I've done that. I'm sure most of us have. Your phone is damaged or something and you don't have a phone for a day, and you're maybe wandering around the streets of New York and you can't look up where's the nearest bank or the nearest noodle shop, or or get the news or see your emails or call anybody, anyway, etc., etc. The benefit. So this is my attempt at wrapping my arms around what the Internet is and what it means. And I'm sure it's a very incomplete attempt, but anyway, take it for what it is. The Internet is one of the largest disruptive technological innovations in history. Via an electronically connected network of data storage locations, a connected computer can access much of the world's information and entertainment almost instantaneously. It's at the speed of light, which is how fast electricity travels. It's how fast radio signals travel. This network reaches into all continents and nations and is in most cases owned by a variety of private companies. The data storage locations, with vast differences in capacity, are owned by companies, governments, and individuals. The data are owned by companies, governments, and individuals. Some data are easily accessible with or without permission. Some data are meant to be private with controlled and limited access. Also, by the way, some nations attempt to firewall their Internet and make it impossible for their citizens to go outside of certain areas and certain content, because having all information accessible is perceived as a threat. Data accessed by permission often involve a subscription fee or, alternatively, exposure to advertising messages on the part of the viewer of the data or the information. Data with limited access are always vulnerable to break-ins via hacking, because if there's a way to send the data into the database, there's always a way for somebody else to follow that way into the database and have access to the data. By definition, it can't be eternally cut off. There's some kind of connection via the internet. Because of the huge amount of content and the huge amount of new content being added daily, effectively policing content is very difficult, if not impossible. Hence, the internet is more or less wide open for bad actors to post untrue and in some cases purposely misleading, malevolent, or even dangerous content. The internet has disrupted almost every aspect of modern society, causing major changes in how we consume content, shop, and communicate, among other things. And just to remind you this, if you look at the history of the internet, and I've got another piece coming up on that, but basically what we see is just a trend of broader bands, broader pipes for more content being sent more quickly. And I also want to make the point, and I'm going to make it even more in a minute or two. It's important to note that, and we're seeing it today in very bold, stark relief, that not everyone has access to broadband internet. And even if they have the access, because the networks are there to be tapped into, maybe they can't afford the cost, because in most cases, internet access is not free. If it's free, it's being provided by somebody else who's probably paying for it. And access requires a computer, and not everybody has an up-to-date computer that can access and take advantage of what the internet offers. And of course, in the future, everything is moving more and more towards our mobile devices, away from the larger, more cumbersome devices. And these 5G mobile networks, which are going to allow more like a full broadband connection for a wireless device. This is the next wave of technology and advancement and speed. And so when the internet started, it was first called the information superhighway, by the way, everyone. That was a visualization of it, just looking at the history a little bit. And I want to cast this in, this is more for the media class. I want to cast this invention of the internet and mobile with the other technological innovations that led to major differences in how we get and consume information and entertainment. The first is the printing press that we talked about. With movable type, we had to be able to manufacture paper to put the type on. I think a lot of monks in monasteries that wrote books and illustrated religious manuscripts would use something called vellum for their, quote, paper, unquote. And vellum is, I believe, stretched lambskin. So technology had to be invented and had to keep up. The invention of the steam engine, which was the first time we had mechanical devices that could kind of do things on their own, led to bigger printing presses. It led to the locomotive, the horseless, what do they call it? The locomotive? The iron horse, it was called many times, because new technologies are often referred to in the same terms as the old technologies. So the first automobiles or cars were called horseless carriages, for example. But locomotives, train tracks. We developed the ability to send messages via telegraph wires in the 19th century, in the early part of the 19th century. And Morse code was developed, and it could be sent not wirelessly, but it had to be sent across wires. And Morse code cables were even, telegraph cables were even laid across the Atlantic Ocean. And steam engines also contributed to electrical generation earlier. We had the electrical grid, which we talked about already, then the telephone, which we talked about. Those of you who had the telemarketing class, we talked about Alexander Graham Bell and how that worked, and that too is all wired, not wireless. And the radio, which was wireless audio communication using electromagnetic waves. And then we could send pictures via those same type of waves, although different frequencies. Computers were invented in the 20th century, and a fellow named Alan Turing, Englishman, who helped crack the Enigma code during World War II, who was persecuted for being homosexual. After that, was a brilliant mind that laid some of the groundwork for early computers, as did other people. And then the internet, and then mobile, and this is the progress of technological advancement with impact on media. And so all that, believe it or not, is just to set the stage for our lecture about interactive marketing. History and background, I'm going to do a little more of that. Then we're going to get right into different types of advertising, search, banners, etc. Talk a little bit about how you create ads. We'll talk about current trends with internet and interactive marketing, and then we'll talk about strengths and weaknesses. And that is what we shall do. And with that, I'm going to stop, and we'll pick up on the other side.